This is iHeart Communities. I'm your host, Jade Harrell, keeping you connected to our community. Everyone loves a great story, but being able to bring a story to life is a true art form. I am joined today by one of the masters of this art form. The legendary Bobby Norfolk is with us. Hello, Mr. Norfolk.
How you doing, Miss Jade?
I'm doing spectacularnious. You are on the phone with me.
Yes, ma'am. We are on the line.
On the line. My goodness, my goodness. Well, how wonderful it is to have you with us. And I'm so glad to be able to talk with you as you have been so active lately and have an upcoming show that I want you to share with our audiences. For those who may not know or who need to be reacquainted, please tell us a little bit about your origin story. How did you become the great storyteller that you are today?
Well, it started at the Arch in the old courthouse back in 1975. And before that, I was doing stand-up comedy in the nightclubs in St. Louis, opening up for the big-name acts that came through St. Louis, late 70s. And at the same time, I was with the Black Repertory Company Theater. So when the theater was dark, I was a park ranger and then doing some stand-up comedy. And all blended together when the St. Louis Storytelling Festival started. Where else but at the Gateway Arch in the old courthouse.
I love
79.
It. I see. So comedy was your first love, eh?
It was first love. Yes, it was.
So who told you were funny?
By Richard Pryor.
Oh, wow.
He brought it.
Yeah.
And then George Carlin and Dick Gregory.
Yes, and Brother Dick Gregory, absolutely. And something you share there is a great, as the kids call it nowadays, woke commentary and narrative. You use your platform to teach, to uplift, and enlighten. Share a little bit more about how that's a part of your mission.
I majored in history, Jade, at University of Missouri St. Louis, and so coming from that background of militancy with the Association of Black Collegians at UMSL back in the day, I wanted to put the political aspect of my work into an art form. And so I became, I guess, one of the pioneers in St. Louis of spoken word, and I got that from the last poets who had been doing it from the mid-'60s out of Harlem, New York. So I started to perform some of their works from their albums of the last poets. Wow. And it just took off from there. Yeah,
it took off is no joke. Talk a little bit about your travels. Where has your gift taken you in the world?
I have been blessed and privileged to travel the planet three times. Yes, ma'am. I'm in Taiwan, China, Hong Kong, Wales, London, Indonesia, Bangkok, Thailand, Manila, Philippines, just to name a few places. And everybody loves story. Yeah. What I found out is that wherever I travel around the planet, I find the human brain is hardwired for storytelling. And, they even came back to me when I did a little stint with Channel 4 between 1988 and 91. TV show Gator Tales.
Gator Tales
that ran.
You said Gator Tales.
Gator, as in Grouchy Gator.
Oh yeah.
Don't want to talk ebonics on the radio.
Gator Tales, man.
Yeah.
You're all right with Gator Tales.
Yeah.
I love that. Yes, you did have that awesome program for.
Won 3 Emmys. But I'm not bragging about it.
No, you need to be acknowledged, though, my dear. Don't have a problem with being acknowledged. We are so proud of you. And you're not tired yet, huh? You're still at it.
Not done. I'm going to be working with the National Public Radio show, to the best of our knowledge, on May the 25th. And it's going to be a program at the Sheldon Memorial. And tickets are available online. You can just call or email St. Louis Public Radio and find out about that program to the best of our knowledge.
Sure. Well, what can we expect from you for this show?
They want me to do an excerpt of the Negro National Baseball League.
Ooh.
I'll be talking about Leroy Satchel Paige and James Cool Papa Bell and how they were some of the best players ever to put on a uniform, bar none.
Are you going to write original material for this and in your rendition?
Oh, it's been written.
Okay.
It's been written and it's ready to go, yes.
Oh, it's done, right? It should be done by now.
Yeah, this is not a new thing.
You don't put it off to the last minute, yeah.
They just wanted a short excerpt of it. But what is being written is the Dred Scott plays that's going to be written by Sheila P. Moses, a very well-known female African-American writer and playwright. And she's working with the descendant of Dred Scott, Lynn Jackson, to perform this piece. Mm-hmm. Yes. So we're going to bring it to the main stage next February 2018.
That's fantastic. So what would you offer, since we're hardwired for it, what do you feel is the special thing that stories bring us, and maybe some encouragement about plugging in and getting some more in our life?
You know, everything we see, hear, taste, touch, and smell, it comes through a story. Everything we assimilate and everything that we bring into our consciousness, we have to relate it through a story. You know, you're doing the story of my career right now. You know, every evening news, morning news, the lead story. So it's all about storytelling. Did Walt Disney figure that out? J.K. Rowling figured it out when she did Harry Potter, telling the story. So we have to live our lives through the way a story is unfolded in our imagination.
Mm-hmm. The way a story is unfolded in our imagination. What makes for a great story?
It has to have a plot.
Okay.
And usually the best stories are the eternal battle of good versus evil. Yeah, no story.
We're hardwired to that one for sure.
Oh, yeah. Good versus evil. You go all the way back to Star Wars and The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, good versus evil. Go back again to Harry Potter series, good versus evil. They did it. They got all the way back to Cinderella, Snow White, the Red Riding Hood. Nancy the Spider.
There we go. Aha. I was like, yeah, those are classics, but I know you for Anansi bringing that to life. We do have a couple of quick moments. Would you share an Anansi story with us over the air?
A little impromptu Anansi story.
Yes.
One of my favorites is to teach children about sharing. Anansi found a magic book bag in the forest, and he wanted to take all the storybooks and put them in the magic book bag and hide the book bag up in the tree. And what's up with that? Nobody would know what the storybooks were except Anansi. But him being a knucklehead, he put the backpack on his belly instead of his back. Tried to climb the tree, run up, chicka-boom, chicka-boom, chicka-boom. My boy slipped, fell back to the ground. Bam! Hit that tush. He tried it again. The book bag on his belly, not his back. Slipped back down to the ground. Bam! Ow! That had to hurt. And third time he tried it. Third time is a charm. Two kids were walking to school with their backpacks on their backs. And they said, look, Anansi, put the backpack on your back, my brother. Why are you carrying it on your belly? And he tried to be up at them. Don't you kids have to go to school? Yeah, we're going to school. We're trying to help you out, brother. Peace. And then he thought about what they said. Duh. Put the backpack on his back. Jay went up the tree and figured out what he had done wrong. He said, if I don't have enough sense to put a backpack on my back, I don't deserve all these books. He opened up a magic backpack, went, picked up the books, carried them all over the world on the jet stream. And he settled down on the ground like a gentle rain. And that's why people all over the world, especially St. Louis, Missouri, hello,
hello,
storybooks to read.
Have storybooks to read. Bravo, bravo. And it is always so fun the way you deliver it. Now, that's a cool, hip kind of Anansi. You hear Anansi with African proverbs, but he's got a little Harlem going, too.
Oh yeah, I had to contemporize Nancy. Yeah,
well, that's something that you bring to it, and you create them through you. You recreate these characters and pour the spirit of you in them, and just think of all the many lives, the thousands and thousands of lives that you've touched with your spirit through your performances. It's just tremendous, in my opinion.
No, thank you, dear. I have teachers that have approached me saying that you told me stories when I was in the third grade. Now I'm teaching third grade.
Look at that.
I said, "Come bring it." Somebody told me. Yeah, somebody told me I was like wine and cheese, that I improve with age.
That's true. I don't know how you claiming all this age nonsense, though. I've seen you.
I do my little yoga and my meditation.
Okay.
I eat my veggie burgers.
What? That's something I'd love for you to speak on as well. In order to deliver that life and spirit through your art, you have to also invest a great deal of self-care and really preserving yourself in order to give from your overflow and not your reserve. I would think this would be something helpful to our audiences if you shared a little bit about your self-care and some of your practices.
Yes, ma'am. I call them the 5 precepts.
Hey.
And those are ways of living. And it starts with proper nutrition. Mm-hmm. You are what you eat. All food is either acid or alkaline. You can start from there. And the food that's acid will create disease. The food that's alkaline, the body can assimilate and becomes energy and nutrition. And then there's proper sleep. Mm-hmm. You gotta get the proper amount of sleep. And if you can't get enough sleep, you learn how to meditate. Hello. And then from the sleep, you go into proper exercise. Okay. You don't have to work out in the gym to build up buff, but take a good walk or ride a bike, get the heart rate going and the blood circulating. Proper mental attitude. You have to have a proper mental attitude that a quitter never wins, and a winner never quits. People don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan. And then the last of the 5 is proper breathing. We take these little shallow breaths, and sometimes we forget how to breathe. But you breathe that oxygen and that sun. We breathe sunlight energy, Jade. It's what that sun, that big old star sitting up in the sky, is supposed to be about. You're supposed to suck in that sunlight energy. Even at nighttime, the energy is still there. And the proper deep breathing oxygenates the bloodstream and increases blood flow, thus God force.
Yes, thus the force that you would then in turn light all of us up as well. So then I'm gonna wrap with this last question. Then, is St. Louis your home?
St. Louis, home, born and raised. And you've traveled the world. And traveled the world from there.
Yeah, like you said, 3 times.
3 so far.
So far, right.
Get it on a 4th. Yeah.
And so you've been around the big ball and the block a few times. As you look at this now, you're also an activist, and you wanted to politicize your message to, convict people to action and to positive change and awareness.
Exactly.
Yeah, share a little bit about where you are with things now and, how your experience around the world has been. And as a Black man today, share something from your perspective.
These travels have opened my eyes to the point where I've had to write a memoir. I call it Eye to the Sky, storytelling on the edge of magic. And all these travels and all these things that I have seen, I had to put it, when we were in school, Jay, they call it an autobiography.
Yes.
But now they went French on it. It's a memoir.
Memoir, yes.
Memoir. So, I had to do my memoir and write about my experiences and put it into 267 pages.
Oh, yeah.
And people can find it online. A lot of folks like to shop Amazon.
Yeah, it's nice and easy and all that. And so you put it all together in a book for us to experience. What's the name of the book?
Eye to the Sky.
Eye to the Sky.
Storytelling on the edge of magic.
Wow.
I was going to put Ear to the Sky since Maurice White seemed to have taken that already, and so I changed it a little bit.
Eye to the Sky.
Yeah,
no worries.
Earth, Wind, and Fire was my inspiration all through my 5 years going to So.
Well, we'll look for that as well. And where do we send out the invitation for the show, the very next thing you're doing with NPR, so we can be there?
It's going to be Sheldon Memorial, May 25th, 7 p.m. Just pull up St. Louis Public Radio or Sheldon Memorial's event online, to the best of our knowledge.
To the best of our knowledge. How apropos for you. Bobby Norfolk, famed comedian, storyteller, performer, artist, just amazing talent. And I'm so delightful to know you, sir. Thank you for being with us today. And I look forward to enjoying more of what you have for us at the NPR special, Your Book and More.
Thank you, Sister Fran. I appreciate you. Keep up your good work, too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, that's it for this week. If you have questions or comments or have something you'd like to include in the community calendar, you can leave a message on our message box at 314-333-8369, 314-333-8369. And for more information about our show or any of our guests, you can visit us online and listen to the podcasts at Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker.com. And search Community Connection with Jade Harrell. You all be blessed, do blessed, and take care.